Kimberly Elkins, an American author, delves into the remarkable life of Laura Bridgman in her biographical historical fiction, What is Visible, 2014. Before Helen Keller gained widespread recognition, Bridgman, a real-life historical figure, achieved the extraordinary feat of becoming the first deafblind American child to acquire literacy and communication skills. Stricken by scarlet fever at the age of 2, Bridgman lost 4 of her 5 senses: sight, hearing, smell, and taste. Guided by the prominent physician and abolitionist Samuel Gridley Howe, Bridgman learned to read Braille and communicate using Charles Michel de L'Épé's manual alphabet. What is Visible received acclaim, being chosen as a New York Times Book Review editor's choice and hailed as the most inspirational book of 2014 by Woman's Day magazine. The novel opens a year before Bridgman's death in 1888, as she encounters Helen Keller, an 8-year-old also deafblind, who had recently begun lessons with Bridgman's friend, educator Anne Sullivan. Bridgman, though somewhat irritated by Keller's energetic demeanor, finds herself uniquely empathetic towards the young girl's plight. The narrative then shifts back to 1842 when Bridgman, at the age of 12, attracts the attention of the popular English author Charles Dickens during his visit to Perkins School for the Blind. Dickens documents his interaction with Bridgman in his book American Notes, highlighting her strong social feelings and affections. Even when occupied with tasks or in the company of friends, Bridgman displays a touching earnestness, frequently pausing to embrace and express affection. Left to her own devices, she engages in soliloquies using the finger language, demonstrating the remarkable tendency of thought to manifest in the form of language, however slow and laborious it may be. But it is only when alone that she is quiet, for if she becomes sensible of the presence of anyone near her, she is restless until she can sit close beside them, hold their hand, and converse with them by sign. The publication of Dickens's book turns Bridgman into an overnight celebrity and one of the most popular individuals of her time. Howe opens up the Perkins School to the public on Saturdays and thousands visit, eager to watch Bridgman read or yell out locations so she could point out locations on a Braille map. Although these may seem like cheap parlor tricks, Bridgman adores the attention. Perhaps there are not 3 living women whose names are more widely known than Laura Bridgman's, Howe says, and there is not one who has excited so much sympathy and interest. As Bridgman grows into a teenager, she becomes intensely attached to those few people like Howe who can communicate with her. She moves in with Howe in his private quarters, delighting in crawling into his lap and stroking his beard. Although their relationship is paternal in nature, not sexual, Bridgman becomes immensely jealous when Howe marries Julia Ward, the daughter of a wealthy banker and a writer who would go on to craft the lyrics to the Battle Hymn of the Republic, a Union rallying cry during the Civil War. Despondent over Howe's marriage, Bridgman tries but fails to stow away on the ship, carrying her teacher and his new bride away on their honeymoon. After this incident, Bridgman is forced to move back to the main dormitory at the school where she reads, does chores, and communicates with teachers and students. With no other sense but touch, Bridgman is understandably desperate for physical intimacy. Unfortunately, most of the students and teachers at the school are women, and the social mores of Victorian-era America strictly forbid homosexual activity. As the book goes on, the narrative shifts between Bridgman's story and those of other characters in her or Howe's orbit. For instance, readers delve deeper into the character of Julia, often referred to as Diva Julia, who harbors jealousy towards the attention Howe bestows upon his blind students. Described as having a visceral aversion to what she perceives as abnormal or defective, Julia naturally recoils from interactions with the blind and other individuals with disabilities, often finding herself in their company. At 16, Bridgman's emotional burden, exacerbated by the abandonment of Howe and other teachers, leads her to suffer from anorexia, causing her weight to plummet from 113 to 79 pounds within a short period. Sensing her responsibility for Bridgman's well-being, her new teacher, the compassionate Sarah White, arranges a trip for Bridgman to reunite with her mother, sisters, and brother in New Hampshire. This reunion proves immensely beneficial, as Bridgman begins to eat again and gradually reaches a healthy weight. Despite this improvement, Bridgman remains frequently obstinate and cantankerous, leading White to eventually leave her to marry. In 1950, at the age of 21, with no one left at the school willing to bond with her or care for her, Bridgman departs the Perkins School to live with her family in New Hampshire. However, her anorexia resurfaces, prompting Howe to arrange her return to the school, where she remains for the rest of her life. Despite their emotional estrangement over the years, Howe's death in 1876 deeply affects Bridgman, who is left mourning his loss. Prior to his passing, Howe ensures Bridgman's financial security. In the 1880s, Bridgman forms a friendship with Anne Sullivan, a young woman at the school who later introduces her to her student, Helen Keller. In 1889, at the age of 59, Bridgman falls ill and passes away. What is Visible serves as a tribute to a largely overlooked figure in American history. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.